Okay, hello everybody. My name's Ian, and I'm here with Daddy Kitty and Mama Bleep, and we are here for the Friday night after Thanksgiving edition of the Sights and Sounds of Earth. And here we go. We are live back in the studio, and I'm going to update you guys on a bunch of stuff today. All kinds of stuff. Equipment that worked, equipment that didn't work. I'm going to be talking about all kinds of stuff. Tonight we've got the remnants of a big storm that went through the Northeast and the Midwest. The melt is going on, I guess, or at least the deep freeze is. I don't know if the melt started yet or not. But one hell of a snowfall for 36 to 48 hours for a number of folks that are southeast of the Great Lakes. Can I help you with something? Did you want to say something? Go ahead. No? Okay. They're shy. You know, they prefer that I do most of the talking. Anyway, so yeah, this storm's been going on. Lots and lots of lake effect snow. Finally, the lake effect snow has tapered off down to a dull roar. Last night we were seeing some very, very amazing classic lake effect snow, and that is where the water is warmer than the air and it creates condensate over the lake, which turns into snow, and then the wind blows that snow into the communities normally to the east and southeast of the lakes, and we saw a lot of that yesterday. All right, hello everybody. Hello Victor. Hello Eyes, how you doing tonight? James, thank you for being here. Heath, thank you for being here. I appreciate that. And Neighbor in Moorhead, thank you for being here. And also Bill, thank you. Guys, there's not a whole lot going on. We're going to go through it tonight. We're gonna check out what's going on everywhere. We're going to look at the news. We're going to check out the upper right corner. Is all I can find right now for protests around the country. This is something going on, and I'm not even sure exactly where, because this is a composite that someone else is doing. So we're trying to figure this out, but not a whole lot going on. The caption for it was, this is Portland, so I think it's in Portland, but I'm not sure. The center there, I've got to, one of the Fox stations or something up there. I'll eventually find something else to go there maybe. And then the upper left, we've got something going on there that's a little different. Tonight this is the Australia First rally. It looks like it got cut off there or something, but anyway, it is the rally that Australia is having, that's very similar to, what if you would see something here like a pro-America rally or something. They're doing the same thing we are right now. They realize that, hey, we've put other people ahead of ourselves for way too long, and it's not selfish to look out for your own country for a while. There's nothing selfish about that. All right, all this money and aid and time and effort that we give to all these other countries, when we really could be spending that here for our own people. That's our money. That's our money that we collected from our taxes. And we could use that and spend that much better than is being spent when we send it to other countries, and it's being absorbed into terrorist groups, and it's being absorbed into dictatorships and all this other stuff. And a lot of times the aid never actually gets where it's going, and that's kind of the sad part. You can mean well, and you can have a big heart, and you can have a big wallet, you can even have a big butt. That don't matter, because the bottom line is the aid's not going to get to where you're sending it to, and you're wasting your time and your money. That's the bottom line. And I don't know why people have a hard time with that. I think a lot of times people are just like, well, we have to do what makes us feel good because it's all about us. But you know what? Truthfully, it's not all about us, and it's not all about what makes us feel good. It's about what works and what doesn't work in the world, and that's about where we're at right now with this whole thing. All right, so let me check my audio input here. I have to reset all these audio properties every night. Whoa! That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool right there. You don't get that every day. Wow. Okay, that's working. Got to be able to do the cuckoo, right? All right, so let's see where we are. We're going to go through the news tonight. We're going to go through the weather. We're going to check out our storm chasers. We're going to look at what's going on out there. The ones right above me here, again, these are both two protests that are going on. The one on the left, I'm not sure. He said something about restaurant protests or something. I don't know. I think it's just some guy walking. And the other one there looks to be a fairly large protest. I'm not sure where that is. I'm endeavoring to find out more on that. When I go back through again and I see that one, I will get the information for you. Okay. And then in the center there, you've got where the storms are coming through. And you've also got one storm chaser on the ground down there. And that would be John McKinney. John McKinney is our storm chaser tonight down there. He's showing you what he's chasing. He's got more snow and crud coming, and he's dealing with snow and crud. Okay, and so there we go. That's our only storm chaser that we have out right now, and you can see him on the radar there, just south of Sioux City. He's west of Des Moines, where we've still got more snow moving through. This is kind of the next system, really. And there is still lake effect snow going on. Holy shit. Look at that. It's still going on, guys. Look at that. That's lake effect snow. It's created out over the water, and then it blows over the land. Same thing here. This was created here, and it's blowing this way. Isn't that crazy? And even down here, that is lake effect snow, guys. It's not coming from the clouds. It's condensate over the water, over the lakes. Those lakes are, I don't need to tell you how big they are, and that's what creates this lake effect snow, and that's what's going on right now. That is all lake effect snow that's falling on areas that have already seen a day or two of lake effect snow. Yesterday, it was snowing to beat the band. Yesterday. I mean, it was coming freaking down yesterday. It was one of those buffalo nights. But today it's a lot lighter. But this is the kind of snow here. This will accumulate. I mean, there's some decent snowfall there. But here's the thing. It's training. Okay? And training is when we see the same storms traveling over the same areas for long periods of time. And it piles up as it goes. It piles up, and then the next one comes behind it and piles up, and the next one piles up and piles up. And because it's being formed right there, it's being made right there, it's going to continue and continue and continue for the next day or two or three, making snow right there over the water and then pushing it over the land. I bet you some of these areas right here have really seen some high totals. This is not like February, you know. It's probably not the worst of the year, but this was a pretty good snow event for these folks up there. There's Buffalo. We got a camera out of Buffalo. Looks pretty clear there right now. I like this shot because there's about 12 different antennas in this shot, and I can't even tell you what some of them are. That's a disc cone on the left, that big alien looking thing. That's a disc cone, a very wide band great scanner antenna, great antenna for an SDR if you're trying to pick up all kinds of different things. It's a very, very wideband antenna, and some of them even are rated at certain frequencies for transmitting as well. There's some other ones here. I don't know what all these antennas are, but these look to be all different kinds of antennas up here. So what a neat place. I would love to know more about this place. This is one of my favorite Radar Omega webcams. Did it say where it was? Let me look. Let's see where it says it is. It says Boltec. And that's in Port Colborne, Ontario, where it is currently freezing. It's 0 Celsius. That's 32 for you and me, boys and girls. I don't hate the metrics. I actually agree with it. I'm just not going to do it. I'm being stubborn. See, when we do stuff on our show here, I don't do any metric. But when I'm on here, I will always try to give the kilometers per hour, because we have a lot of listeners that are from places that do the metric system, and they may not be used to our imperial metrics, our imperial measure, and so I try on here on YouTube, because it's an international audience, and I get a lot of folks from I get a lot of folks from Australia and New Zealand, and a lot of folks from the UK, and even from around everywhere, and so I do like to give the metric readings when I can, and so I'll give those after the imperial reading for our American crowd, or I should say our United States crowd. Some parts of America use imperial and some parts use metric, so it's not fair to say America unless I'm just referring to the United States. That's one of those weird things where you can say somewhere in America and it means somewhere between Brazil and Canada, or you can say here in America, and that means in the 50 United States and territories. And it's kind of one of those weird things where it's not, I hate the way it's used, but it's used that way. All right, so anyway, I want to talk about, I want to take a few minutes here while we're moving forward, and I want to talk about what happened this weekend. I had all kinds of issues, but you have to remember, this was a test weekend, and I learned a lot. I'm having to buy a few pieces of equipment. I know that now. And what are you doing, Daddy? Anyway, I know now a couple things I need to get. I know some stuff I need to do. And I will tell you guys also, had a chance this weekend to carry around and use my new UV32. And I am not a Baofeng sales guy or anything, but I love this freaking radio. I think they got a winner here. I think the UV25 for a big ass, kick-ass radio is big and huge, and it's a winner. I think the UV17 is a winner. But I'm going to tell you guys something. This UV32, it's another game changer. This is the public safety design with the speaker on one side and the screen on the other. Huge ass screen, beautiful radio. I just letting you guys know once again, if you're gonna buy a radio, and if you want a really, really big screen, they both have big screens, but even this one has a bigger screen than the UV25. So if you have vision problems, because I know I have a hard time seeing these screens. If you have a hard time seeing these screens, this UV32 might be the best option right now. It gives you the largest, most colorful, brightest screen that you're going to get on these little radios. These are for everybody. They do GMRS, they do MERS, they do FRS, they do Marine Band. They can do all that stuff, and it's $37. And I'll help you program the damn thing. I got videos and everything to help you right through it. Okay, so anyway, I went out this weekend. Hold on. No worries, I'm on the air now on YouTube, so I'll be up for a while. No worries, we'll get it done. Okay, I got my clients working with me right now to get their weekend shows done. Somehow these shows are better if we do them at the last minute. I don't know. I'm just kidding. Yeah, Victor. If you, I don't know if you've bought any of these cheap Chinese radios yet, Victor, but this would be a good first radio. This one didn't come with a programming cable. If it doesn't come with one, go ahead and order a programming cable, because you really need, you need to be able to program it. Here's programming cable. I bought this red one for like $8 on Amazon, and it programs all of my Baofangs and most of my TYTs and my Quanshangs, and also my QITs. So not bad. Okay, this does have airband. It's not its first thing. It's the last thing it does, and it doesn't do it as well as some other radios. If you were going to get into listening to aircraft all the time, I would spend a couple $100 and get me a really nice aircraft receiver, an AM aircraft receiver. They make them. They look just about like this, and they're designed to receive aircraft band only, and they do it very well. If it's ancillary, like, okay, I want to do, I got some fire stations that still use VHF. I've got some, I got my local disaster clubs, my local ham radio. I got GMRS license. You know, it's great for all those things too, and you can do it all with one radio. I think that's what's the best about these radios. This is the one you want to put in your disaster kit. One of these bigger hunker radios with the big huge battery with the USB charging standard, USB-C charging standard. You know what's great about this one? If I take it on a trip with me, I don't have to bring the cradle. See, all my other ones, except the last 2 or 3 I bought here, all the other ones, I have to bring all of the charging cradles with me. Like if I'm going to a big event and I'm going to need to charge all my radios at the event, and I bring 4, 5, 6 of my old radios, I have to dig out a cradle for each one of those, because that's the only way I can charge them. Now, with these newer ones, I can bring my USB charging bank, which has 10 USBs, and put 10 USB-C cables on it, which I have, and then literally go and plug that in and charge all my radios right there at one time with the USB-C charging standard, and I don't have to bring all the cradles with me. SDR dongles are wonderful. I love them. Let me give you guys a hint on that. When you pull up SDR Sharp, make sure you turn up your gain all the way. I bought mine, thought it was a piece of shit, threw it in the drawer, and it sat there for the longest time. And finally I met somebody that's like, oh man, I love my SDR. And I'm like, I got one. I couldn't hear nothing on it. He said, yeah, it comes with the gain turned all the way down. You have to turn the gain all the way up. So you find in SDR Sharp how to turn the gain up. I think it's left or right click on one of the top left menu things up there. And you turn the gain all the way up, and suddenly you'll be able to hear everything. It'll sound great. The key to the SDR Sharp is the same key for this. It's the same key for my base radio. It's the same key for your Radio Shack realistic scanner from 1979 with the crystals in it. The key is the same thing every time. Antenna, 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 feed line. If you don't have a decent antenna, forget about it. And it doesn't have to be perfect for receiving, but it needs to be there. It needs to be above the roof. It needs to be high. The difference, if I'm in my bedroom with this little rubber ducky antenna, or I'm in this room here with this, I can't hear anything. I'm deaf in here. Even outside in the yard, I can barely hear anybody. It's difficult. But I got my 40-foot tower out there. Okay, I got the tip of my antenna out there is over 40 foot tall out there. It's a Comet GP9 multiband. If I take that wire, which is right over here, and I hook it up to this radio, this 10 watt, 8 to 10 watt radio, it's now a base radio. I'm talking all over the county. I can hit all the repeaters, because the radio is only part of the equation, and it's not the biggest part of the equation. The biggest part of the equation is antenna, antenna, antenna. So I tell everybody, no matter what, whether you buy a little HF receiver, whatever, if you're going to buy a little low band receiver like an HF receiver, they sell them for like $40 now. They're great. Buy one of those, or buy the SDR Sharp. Turn that gain all the way up. And what you want to do is string up a long antenna out in your yard. Just string up a big old piece of wire. Does it matter how long it is? Not really if you're just receiving. You want it to be really long. You want it to gather lots of energy. And so you want to string it all the way out through your yard and hook it up, and suddenly you'll be able to hear everything. You'll be very surprised how much more you can hear on that. You know, that SDR Sharp does everything from low band all the way down to like 1 megahertz, all the way up to 1090, the dump 1090, which is the telemetry that comes from all the aircraft. So you can do a lot with that SDR Sharp. And I bought the little filter for the dump 1090, and it filters everything else out, and I can put my little antenna up at 15 feet, and I can get planes all the way up past Ocala. I mean, I'm talking 3 hours away, and I'm still seeing all the aircraft on the radar, so it's pretty cool. It's really a neat thing that you can do with it. SDR Sharps are pretty cool. A rubber ducky, there you go. Yeah, they do. They do get hot. In fact, I've experimented with putting, you can get some of that, the heat glue, that you use to glue your heat sink onto your processor card when you're building a computer. You know, you buy that stuff, I forget what it's called, but like heat paste or whatever. You buy that stuff, and you can literally get you any kind of aluminum heat sink, any kind of heat sink, and glue that thing right to the heat sink, and then blow some air across it, and you could keep that thing really cool. If it gets really hot, it will degrade the performance and shorten the life. And so I have experimented with cooling them. There was a time when I was running 2 of them all the time, and you're gonna laugh. I actually had them both up by the air conditioner, and the wire would go up the front, and they were both in front of the air conditioner like this, and so the air was blowing right across them, and it would keep them nice and cool. So there's a way to do it. And then eventually I put a hose in, an air hose, and was running that down for my computer, and I actually put holes in it and put the SDRs to where they were in that dryer hose, so that it was a plastic dryer hose, and I cut holes and put the SDRs in the dryer hose, so when the cold air was coming down to the computer, being blown out up there and sucked in down here, it would go past those SDR Sharps, SDR RTLs, and it would cool them down. There's some neat ways to cool stuff. Heat sinks are great. Moving air is great. But yeah, you don't want them to just sit there and bake, because it will shorten the life. And of course, it really does reduce the performance as well. Oh, I love this kind of stuff. You can really do some cool stuff with these receivers and stuff. It's really neat. The new computer this weekend worked out great. I love the new computer. I have one problem with this new computer. It's got a USB-C charging standard, but it's got a 100-watt cord. It's thick as shit. That's okay. It's got a big old ass converter box to go from 110 volt down to whatever the hell voltage it runs on. And then here's the other thing. I plug it into my inverter. Doesn't work. The inverter can't pull it. So I borrowed somebody else's 400-watt inverter. It can't pull it either. So I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm going to probably have to run some thick wires from my battery in so that I can power the computer. So that was the big issue I had this weekend mostly. The computer, they say laptops will last 8 or 10 hours on a battery. Not when you're broadcasting. It's about 90 minutes. About 90 minutes of broadcasting, and the laptop battery was gone. And so that's what it is, and that's why I did a little broadcasting on the way home, but it didn't work out very well. The show went well last night. I was able to do the show from in the car. That was the first time I had done a Sights and Sound show. Notice I still had all the screens and everything going on, but I'm in the car. Worked really well. The cameras, the new cameras worked well. One of them came disconnected a couple times. I don't know if that could have been a wire issue or whatever. So these cameras, I'm trying to figure out how I can like put these cameras a little further away from the base, right? So what I did was I got these. These are extension wires. These are high quality. When you buy USB extenders and USB long wires and things like that, you have to buy good quality. You cannot buy the cheapest one. These are good quality. This is a 15-foot extension cable, and it's plug into plug, so you can use this for anything. But then I also I have 3 of these. These are 2 of them are 15 and 1 of them is 20, and it's USB on one end and USB-C on the other, and they are data approved. Also, they are power proof, so they send power, they do data. And what I'm using these here, this is the big one here. This is the 20, and then I got 2 15s. What I'm using these for is when I get to the parade or I get to the event or whatever's going on, I need to be able to put the camera up where it's out of the way somewhere and send the wire back over somewhere to where it gets back to my computer. All my wires right now are 5, 6, and 10 feet. And I'm worried that I would get somewhere and it would not, I would not have enough wire to get the cameras up high or out of the way. So now I have a 20, I have 2 15s, and I have another 15 extender to go along with the other ones I already have, which I already have some, like 2 or 3, a variety of 10-footers already. So now I can go straight from the hub on the laptop 20 foot out and put the camera out 20 feet away. And then I can put the other one over here 15 foot away. And if I need to, I believe I can add 15 more feet to that one and go 30 feet. I'd have to test that first. These things do not like when you start duplicating them because they're running power through. Power going one way, digital signal coming back. So we'll have to test it and see, but this will give me the length that I need to get the cameras out away from the broadcast booth. So now I can set me up a little table, right? And then I can run these wires up and over to tripods that I can literally bungee cord right onto the telephone pole or however I'm going to do it, or just put up a big tripod, whatever I end up doing. You all right? She still ain't right. She got so sick she almost died. She got pneumonia or some shit. It almost killed her. And now she's still recovering. Her coat's not like perfect. She's still recovering. All right, so there we go. Let's see what else we got going on here. Yeah, the thing is, the power supply is only 100 watts. So I don't know how I'm needing 300 or 400 watts. So it gets weird with voltage. It's probably an ohms issue where we've got just drain and everything. I think what I need to do is run a larger one, like a 400 watt, but I can't plug it into my cigarette lighters. I don't think my cigarette lighters produce enough voltage. I think that's the problem. They got little thin ass wires to all this stuff. And what I need to do is run another set of power leads. I've already run one set. I need to run another set of power leads all the way into underneath the passenger seat. And then under there, there'll be this box sitting there that will run the computer power supply, And I also can run, it'll be 400 watts. It would be able to run other things too, as long as I'm providing it with enough power. The weakest point for these inverters is the input power. You know, a lot of these inverters, yeah, they'll do 400 watts, but you don't put in, your cigarette lighter plug would never produce that much energy. So it puts you at a loss right from the beginning. So that's what screwed me up this weekend. I couldn't stay broadcasting. Also, the air card. That air card shut off 3 or 4 or 5 times today, and it wasn't hot. There's nothing wrong with it. So it doesn't matter because I'm not using that jetpack anymore. I'm going to move that chip over to my new device. Tomorrow, I'm probably going to be building that new device. And getting that all set up. I'm going to build it into a small case, and I'm going to wire it all into the case, and that case will go in my car, and then it will hook up to the antennas on the roof, and it will hook up to shore power with the car power basically, and it will also have a small Wi-Fi antenna on it for inside the car. And that little box can sit anywhere on the floorboard somewhere out of the way, but it has to be hooked up to the 2 antennas and the power, basically. And with the 2 little stubby antennas on either side of the roof, that thing should stay connected almost indefinitely. I mean, and I'm going to have an AT&T SIM, which I already have, and I'm going to have a T-Mobile SIM. So it's literally going to have 2 unlimited use SIM cards in it, and it will go back and forth, whichever one has the best signal. And so it's what they call a fallback, and it will allow it to stay connected no matter what. If one starts to go down, it will actually establish a new connection through the other carrier and continue the broadcast. And so it's pretty cool. It should work. I've got the device. I'm going to be testing it. That's one thing I did not get set up yet. This is the one piece of equipment that I haven't, because it takes a little bit of doing. It has to be set up. But this is the device right here, and it's got 3 antenna connections on top, and those are SMA. And as you can see, there's a primary, a backup, and also a Wi-Fi. And it has all the little lights to tell you what's going on. Over here is where your 2 SIM cards go in. And it also, you can plug your computer into LAN. You can also pin out, and there's where the power goes out. So there you go. That's the whole deal. It came with 3 little antennas, but you can add better ones, which is what I'm going to do, and then keep the ones I have for when we do portable. I'll put them in the case with it. So if we decide I'm going to use it in the hotel, or I'm going to use it, I'm going to take it down to the beach or whatever, it'll be a case. And I'm working on right now, I think what I'm going to end up doing is buying another one of these, and I'm going to power this with this, and those will be in the box together, and the box will have antennas on the outside of it. And then if you want to, you can take those antennas off, and you can put longer wires with bigger antennas, whatever you want to do. And then it'll be autonomous. It'll run. You don't have to plug it in. You don't have to do anything. And it'll run with the antennas it has too. So it's completely self-contained in this box. This device with this battery will be completely self-contained in the box. And then it will have 3 antennas on the outside of the box. 1 on each side and 1 in the middle. And if you want to run larger antennas, you just take those off and you hook them in. But I'll run SMA, and then I'll have a UHF connector coming out. Anyway, the point is, this is going to be transportable. So in other words, if we decide we want to go portable, if I'm doing the parade or whatever, this is just one case I carry, and it literally just sits there. And if the connection's not good, I've got the 3-pack of cheap antennas inside. We can start putting antennas up and see what we can get. And then I'll probably have some larger antenna options as well. But it will get us the coverage that we need with cellular. So I'm happy with this system. I want to get it hooked up and going. Like I said, it's going to be in its own sealed Pelican case with the connectors that run through it like I did with that other box. And I'm building this whole thing out in the next 30 days or so. It'll be done. And then when I go in the car, I'm going to have the two magnets on the roof, the magnet mounts on the roof. So it'll go right out, plug into the car, boom, boom, boom. The box will plug into the car as well, and it will charge the battery and run the Wi-Fi and run the air card and everything. And then when you get where you're going, you pull plugs out, and this thing's still on. It's just go, you know, and you've got it. You put your antennas down on there, and you've got it completely portable. You could literally, one of the people that are going can actually just carry this box. They can put it around their neck with a strap, and you'll have internet wherever you go. So it's really cool. They're using them at my work now. They have ones there that are a lot more expensive. They have all three cell providers in them, 3 SIM cards, and they're in a backpack with an antenna that comes up on the top. And they can walk all through the courthouse with this thing. They walk everywhere with this thing. They're very reliable. They work pretty good, and that's what we're going to now. They're selling all the satellite trucks and all the extra this. They're keeping a few of the bigger vehicles that have all kinds of capabilities, but for the most part, they're not anymore. The reporters go out by themselves with a backpack on, or they take a photog with a backpack on, and they just take a car and they go. Would you stop moving my windows around, woman? So that's where I got this idea for what they call dual SMA. It allows me to have that fallback. Is it possible your monitors have a red color display? I'm not sure what you mean. I have red studio lighting in here. Yeah, James, that's what I got to do. I have to power. The 400 water I have is probably good enough. I just have to power it with enough power. Yeah, you really have to run thicker wire. Yeah, cigarette lighters are they're just thin ass wire. That was a Yaesu 710. That's DX710. I love I love my radio. That's the FT710, whatever it is. I just bought that about 6-7 weeks ago. I've already made about 1,000 contacts with it. I love it. It's a great radio. Yeah, we could get him a blinking red collar. She would love that, I'm sure. Yeah, those inverters are always hungry and they're never happy. I know. I've dealt with inverters. They suck. They're good, but they suck. You know, they're very picky about the power. They're also picky about when you start a car or you have a drain on the battery suddenly, they'll just kick off and things like that. Yeah, we're gonna have to go higher. I gotta have this computer to where it'll charge all the time. Also, I had a few things in there that were a little precarious. I need to actually build a deck that will fit in there perfectly, and then I'm going to staple that rubber mat to the top of it. And then what I'll do is I will cut like little pieces of wood and put them in there, and I'll wrap them in that rubber mat, and I'll screw them down so that the computer will fit down inside the square. And I'll cut it so that all the plugs are still open. I've already kind of know how I'm going to do it. And then the other screen will be mounted basically on there, and then it'll be neat how it is. How it worked this time was fine. but it was literally stacked in there on cat food cans or something. I mean, I don't have the deck built yet, and I want to build a nice deck in there. So I'm going to be working on that. I'm going to run power through it. I'm going to have it all set up to where you plug the big plug into it, and it'll power the USB plugs, it'll power the light, it'll power everything, and it'll all be hooked up. And then when someone needs to sit in the passenger seat, it won't be that big a deal just to pull a couple of plugs out, and put the seat back a little bit and pull this thing out and stick it in the back seat. That's the idea. It needs to be something that I can pull out when I go get mom and put her in the car. I need to be able to do that. But I also need something that's going to be up there. Yeah, you know, I still think it's expensive. $1,200. They built that radio for probably $200 or $300. I still think these HF radios are inflated. But that being said, the FT710's a lot of radio for $1,200 in today's standard. By today's standards, I still think the whole thing is a little overpriced. But that being said, compared to everything else, I think it's good bang for the buck. The sound quality is amazing. Its ability to transmit is amazing. Anybody I call usually answers. I have great luck with the thing, and I'm very happy with it so far. I'm having a hard time getting it to do FT8, and I've got an email into them right now to try to figure out what I'm going to do, because yeah, that's one of the things I want to do with this radio, because I literally could be doing FT8 going down the road, but I can't do anything because the transmit into the radio is not working right when you're doing digital modes. So yeah, it's a good radio. It's a good radio. And by today's standards, it's reasonably priced. I really believe that that they could do a lot better on these prices. It's a little bit of a gouge. And these ones that are $12,000 and shit, it's literally a dick size contest for these guys. They're all just a freaking radio. Well, I can tell it's a holiday weekend. The numbers are low tonight, but that's okay. That's okay. We're hanging out. Well, not literally, you know. Four-gauge wire. That's no messing around now. That shit's like the size of my finger. Oh, what else was I going to tell you guys? Yeah, I'm happy with this. I think these wires are going to do good. I'm going to test each one out with the cameras to make sure that they work. That, you know, I can plug the camera in and I'm getting good data, power, one-way data back. So I guess Trump's signing something. I don't know. All these things have all reset on me. Hate that. I don't know what's going on. Let me see if I can see. Oh God, there's been unrest somewhere in California. Black Friday shoppers barricading at a California mall. 2 victims hospitalized. Ridiculous. Oh, there's Debbie Blatterhouse-Schultz. Blaming Trump for everything. By the way, there's been a more unrest in Philadelphia. Apparently the Bears have made history with their rushing attack, and the Eagles now crowd has turned hostile against their team. Now Trump's announcing he's going to cancel all these auto pin signatures that Biden did. That's going to be interesting. Obviously, it's going to be challenged at every level in the courts, and I don't know exactly. They'll obviously get a stay right away. Nothing big will happen right away, but it needs to be decided whether we're going to count these thousands of auto pin orders and pardons and all these different things that happen. I don't know how that's going to come out. We'll have to see. Airbus just ordered a recall of A320 family aircraft across all major airlines. So they got something there they're going to have to fix. This is the wrong time of year to be recalling like a bunch of multi-passenger planes like that. Just not a good time. Let's see what else is going on. You know, this Black Friday thing, I've never really bothered to take advantage. I've never waited in line. I've actually gone out 2 different times and interviewed people that were staying in tents overnight in front of Best Buy and shit like that for the radio station. I've actually stood out there in the morning in the cold with a microphone and asked people, so why did you sleep out in front of Home Depot last night? It's 39 degrees. What's going on? And well, it kind of became almost like a cult thing or something for a while, and now it's kind of just become stupid. It used to be, it was the doorbusters. Well, remember, enough doors got busted that they quit doing doorbusters. Remember, they spread it out. They let you get in on the deals on Wednesday and eventually all week, and the whole thing's stupid, right? It's kind of morphed over the years, the Black Friday thing. Well, anyway, I went on to order all this equipment on a Black Friday when the Black Friday stuff on Amazon was in full swing. And after the first thing I found came up and it said, hey, you can get this is on a Black Friday sale, you can save 21%. I'm like, oh wow, cool. So then from then on, I started searching for each item individually and started going low to high and looking for Black Friday deals. I ended up saving $500 or $600 on these orders over the course of a week. And so I'm kind of a fan right now. I mean, this is that was pretty nice. I was able to get a lot more equipment and be able to go further with the money because of the savings that I got with all the Black Friday deals. So it was actually a really good thing. So that's kind of was a positive there anyway. Let's see. What else? This big battery ran 5 different charging. It was charging 2 phones, a tablet. It was running the spare screen, and it was running another charger wire that I was using for various things, and I used it for 36 hours straight, and when I got home it was at like 59%. So this thing actually does really well. And when I'm in the car, rather than every time I turn the car on and off everything powers up and all this bullshit, I use this and this red battery. I use both so that everything in the car that I don't need to power on the car is actually continuously powered by the batteries. This provides a nice level Mallender flow of electricity that never goes on and off. There's no surges or anything like that. And so the whole time I'm gone, if I'm on a 3-day trip or whatever, this thing is keeping all my shit at 100%. It's perfect. And then even if this goes dead, it's kept everything at 100%. I still have now the battery life left in all of my devices. So these are really good. Even in the car, because they take some of the load off the car, and but the bigger reason is not the load on the car. The bigger reason, I like the continuous Mallender flow of electricity that comes out of this. It's a very direct current that comes out. It's battery, and I think it works well. So I used that today, and that worked very well today over the last 2 days. It was really good. Yeah, and Lone Silencer, they actually quit doing it. Walmart, they've all quit doing the doorbusters. What they do now a lot of times in these stores is they'll tell people that every 30 minutes they'll announce like 10 new sales or something. And they just get people to come in and mill around and look at the sales. And the whole idea is there's no doorbusters anymore because it was too dangerous. Yeah, I believe there was some deaths. And yeah, it's not worth it, dude. If you think about it, it's stupid shit. And yeah, Victor, there was at least 1 or 2 cases today of Black Friday vigor and enthusiasm turned into looting. There you go. Okay. Whew, man. I'm tired tonight. I'm going to be getting some sleep. Tomorrow, I'm going to get up, and I'm not sure if I'm going to do anything tomorrow or not as far as on the air. But tomorrow, I've got to get the studio put back together again. It's not too bad. I just got to, put 6 or 8 things back in place. And I'm also going to work on that wireless box, and I'm going to work on the car a little bit. I may build that deck. I don't know. We'll see how I feel. And then my family's doing Thanksgiving on Sunday. Tossing them like wedding bouquet. That's funny. Yeah, that's kind of ridiculous. That I don't know. They did this with TVs for a while, and now you can get an 80-inch TV at Walmart now for $400. I mean, it's like you don't need to bust down the door and hurt 3 employees to get to it. Just go get it. It's right there. Yeah, I saw that. By the way, the NFL, as usual, Thanksgiving games, all kinds of controversy. They're picking winners again. I can't believe people love football so much that they ignore the corruption. They love it so much. They're like, I know, but just don't talk about it. I just like watching football. I can't watch something that I know is like messed up like that. And when you watch some of these games and you see Super Bowl aspirations being taken away from teams simply because the referee makes 5 bad calls in a row against the same team, and suddenly that team doesn't go to the Super Bowl. Now, kiss my ass. It's way beyond random chance. I'm not saying they're all corrupt. Every time I talk about bad cops or bad government or bad NFL refs, I'm always talking about the bad ones. I always understand there's a lot of good ones. There are always good ones. I was a cop. I was a good one. There's all good ones. I saw some bad ones. The point is when I talk about corrupt referees, they're not all. If your uncle's a referee, he may be one of the good ones. Please don't take it the wrong way. But I do want to just qualify by saying that. But that being said, I believe that it's corrupt. I believe that NFL's corrupt. They pick the team that's going to win. They literally, I watched them take it from the Saints 4 or 5 years ago, and I have family members that are Saints fans, and I watched part of that game with them, and I don't know, they watched it get taken, and they knew it. They knew it. They knew that the refs had basically taken the field with the job of making this team come out the winner, because they choose who goes to the Super Bowl every year. And if you don't believe that, you're nuts. You know, everybody always used to say, oh, wrestling's fake. Well, you know what? There's a certain amount of fake in every one of these sports out here. There's a certain amount of this and that. Because face it, they're all businesses. They're all waning right now. Whether you're talking about the NFL or the MLB or soccer, I don't care what you're talking about, tennis, they all have waning numbers right now in viewerships, or at least stagnant numbers at the best. And why is that? Because as time goes on, very, very slowly, people are becoming less interested in sports. It's going to take hundreds of years for it. I think in Star Trek, the last baseball game was played in 2135 or something like that. And that's probably going to be about right. Eventually, sports will go away. People will stop ruining their body for money over sports and fame and money and all that. And I think that eventually we'll grow out of sports. But I think it's still here for a while, a long time. But this is another thing. Anytime you have humans involved in anything like this, where there's billions of dollars in money and wagers and in filling stadiums with people and everything else, there is going to be corruption on a fucking 3 or 4D chess level. I mean, corruption on the level of like craziness. And we're seeing that when refs are literally making shit calls and shit spots for the same team over and over and over again. You saw where his foot went out of bounds. You saw where his foot touched the line, and you watched that asshole spot the ball 2 foot out of place. I couldn't stand it anymore. I used to get so pissed. I used to write letters. I used to try to bring attention to it. I used to talk about it all the time on my other show, but nobody cares, because either A, you don't care about football and you know it's corrupt and you don't care, like me, which is kind of how I've gotten over the years, or B, you love football and the last thing you want to do is draw attention to the fact that the thing that you love is corrupt as shit. Daddy, is there something we can help you with, buddy? What's up? You want to go that way? What? I don't know what he's doing. He doesn't know what he's doing. The 710 radio is still in the car, so he can walk over here a little easier than normal. But he doesn't want to walk on her because she'll slap the shit out of him, so he's going to leap over her. That work out okay for you? Did that work? Yeah, I think it worked out okay. I think it was pretty good. Yeah. I think it was pretty darn good. All right, so, yeah, boxing was cool, but there, even back in the day, there was always talk of people throwing matches and people dropping in certain rounds and things. I don't know. Yeah, the lone silencer, as far as the race part of it, I'm not sure. I do know that they overdo the DEI just like everybody else. But that being said, I don't care about that part of it. But what I do know is the quality of the refs. I don't know that the quality's gone down. Maybe the corruption's just gone up. I mean, all these bad calls, are they bad calls? Can I help you, Daddy? Are they bad calls, or are they the intended calls? They have to make that team win. That team has to win at the end of the night. So they're going to make some bad calls. Oh, the other team scored. Well, we got to find some reason to call this shit back and take those 6 points off. And that's literally what they're doing. And then they'll call it freaking offsides or some bullshit. Or my favorite, pass interference. Kiss my ass, pass interference. Pass interference is literally like the cops around here trying to find a reason to pull you over so they can run your license. That is literally the same thing as pass interference. If they want to pull you over and check your license, pass interference. I mean, anytime they got to call a playback or give you half the distance to the goal line, we gotta really help this team out because they got to win and they're kind of losing. Oh my God, pass interference. It's so bullshit, dude. Of course there's pass interference. There's two assholes going for the same ball. The whole thing's, it's literally subjective. It's horseshit and subjective. Well, like I said, I don't. All right, go please. You've got all the things on the wrong screens now. Jesus, here we go. These cats don't get it with the keyboard. They get on the keyboards, and next thing you know, the whole show's not on anymore or whatever. All right. Red, I'm the same way. I used to love television. I was a television junkie. I had multi-televisions in my room even when I was a kid. I was weird. And I loved shows like In Search Of and Nova and things like that, and science fiction shows and interesting shows, and even like horror shows and stuff. I liked all that kind of stuff on TV back then. And I even liked some regular TV type stuff. But over the years, I've gotten to where I can't stomach it anymore. And of course, the DEI stuff came in just in the recent years and put the icing on the cake for me. But I don't watch anything on network anymore. I haven't watched anything, not in sports. I don't watch anything on network at all anymore. And network is losing. I don't know if you guys know. Network television was always number 1, 2, 3, and 4 in the book. Always. It was always NBC, CBS, Fox, ABC, or ABC, Fox, CBS, NBC. It was always those 4. Okay? And there was years there where NBC was on top. There was a few years where Fox was on top because they had a great lineup in the evening. There was a time there when even CBS was on top for a long time. Broadcast television has always been at the top of the Nielsen ratings, always, because they're the only channel up until recently that's available on nearly every television in the entire country, either through cable, through satellite, or through local antenna. So because of that, it's available on every channel. When you talk about a channel like Fox News or Comedy Central or MTV, those are only available on approximately 65% of televisions with basic cable or basic satellite. So if that means that they're automatically at a huge disadvantage because they can only get 65% of the audience that the broadcast TV can get 100% of. Okay? Guess what happened this year? Fox News, cable news channel, cable, only 65% of the TVs in the world, in the country, get this channel. 65%. They beat in prime time NBC, CBS, ABC, and Fox broadcast. It is unprecedented. It is crazy. There's been a few times where Comedy Central has a big South Park episode and it beats out ABC's Friday night lineup or some stupid shit like that. But for Fox to beat them out through an entire ratings period, and they beat them out through 7, 8, 9 o'clock through prime time, and they have 100% of the TVs available. Fox only has 65% of the TVs that can even get Fox News. It's nuts. You have to pay for a subscription to get it online. So it literally is crazy when you look at the numbers. Why is that happening? I think it's happening because so many people have left cable. So many people have left broadcast TV. So many people have left channel surfing and come over to YouTube, where you've got real content providers, real chat rooms, real-time entertainment, and the only cost to you is a few commercials. I think people are realizing that this is the future, and they're leaving television behind. I know that the 3 or 4 good friends I have they're like me. They watch the internet now, mostly YouTube, and that's how I am. I watch mostly YouTube. I do, if Paramount Plus has a new Star Trek show that I like, I'll get Paramount Plus for a few months and then I'll cancel it. But for the most part, it's YouTube, and I will from time to time get Netflix for a few months if there's something on I want to watch, whatever. But for the most part, I'm not doing anything like that. It's all just YouTube and other content, kind of like this, where you know, it's smaller shows with smaller audiences, but yet the quality's there and it's fun to watch. And you've got co-hosts that are just 90 miles an hour, talking. He just goes on and on, don't you, buddy? Don't you? Your tongue's hanging out. You're on worldwide and your tongue is hanging out. Okay. He doesn't seem to care. Yep, we got rid of them here about 6 or 8 years ago. We had them take the whole cable box and everything out. We don't have any cable boxes at all. I got 2 or 3 Roku setups, and I do use those from time to time. I do rewatches. I'm not going to say I don't, but my rewatches are very specific. I did a rewatch. The one that was interesting is I did a rewatch of Seinfeld about 4 or 5 years ago, and I actually really enjoyed that. That was every night I'd go in and watch a Seinfeld episode, and I got to where I loved that show all over again. I think I don't relate to those people much, you know, the 4 New Yorkers. I really don't relate to them much, but they were funny, and it was just stupid, the shit that they would get into, and I just loved that show. And so I went and did a rewatch of Seinfeld, and it was good. But for the most part, my rewatches are science fiction shows. Stargate, Star Trek, Battlestar Galactica, old and new. I love rewatching old shows because they were better back then. They would write music for the show that they were shooting. Today, it's all just, I don't know. It just doesn't have the depth that it used to. Shows used to, like, I even think in a lot of respects the writing was better in the 70s and the 80s. Yeah, the social programming's bad. The number of commercials is bad. On here, you guys are watching about 4 minutes an hour of commercials. Okay, and a lot of those are skippable. When you're on broadcast TV, you're watching almost 20 minutes an hour of commercials. It's about 5 times the commercials you're watching here on YouTube. And you can't skip any of them either. So, yeah. Hey Crowbar, look, I got fiber optic here. I'm glass all the way from here to the big internet box in the sky, and I'm gonna tell you something. There's no place to be anywhere but glass. It's just so smart. It works so well. With my new laptop got here on Wi-Fi, I was 1.1 gigabits down and 900 megabits up, I think it was. Incredible speed. And they tell me I can go all the way up to 7 gigabits up and 7 gigabits down for $25 more a month. I'm like, I'm not using what I have, and I run a TV studio. Um, yeah, when you're premium, they just give me a little cut of that. If you're not premium, then yeah, they show you the commercials. I have it set to show you the one-sided commercials if possible, and also I have it set to do skippables as much as possible as well. Um, yes, broadcast TV has the exact same commercials all the time. In the 60s, it was about 6 minutes an hour, 7 minutes an hour, and it slowly has increased over the years. And I think broadcast TV is you're getting about 38 minutes now. You're getting about, I don't know, 20, 22 minutes of commercials and news and other things. Um, you would think they would give content providers that have like big channels YouTube Premium. They don't. It's like you can have you can have your gold plaque and you still got to pay for YouTube Premium. Whatever. I just thought that was funny. Um, yep. Well, I appreciate it because if you guys do the commercials or you do the premium, either way, that supports the channel, so it doesn't really matter. I don't know, when every one of these players, when it gets done playing, it reverts back to whatever's going on with Donald Trump right now. I love it. They spared a man the death penalty because he has dementia. Does that make any sense? I mean, I want you to think hard about that for a minute. They're not going to put him to death because he has dementia. Well, dementia is an end-of-life thing anyway. So, but anyway, he died. No, I have not seen that, Victor. Yeah, I don't buy smart TVs. I have Roku boxes. I don't really like the TVs with the cameras and the ones that listen all the time and all that. Um, well, that's cool. Um, yeah, so hey, it's one of the things. The YouTube YouTube it's becoming a great way for people like me to make channels that people like. All right, James, have a good night. We'll see you later. I'm going to be signing off here in just a few minutes myself, guys. I'm very tired tonight. I've still got 2 shows to make before I can go to bed. And so I'm waiting to get the last of those right now. And, yep, I'll be getting those here in just a few minutes. And I got to make those up for tomorrow. One airs early in the morning, so I have to make it up before I go to bed. The other one I could do in the morning if I'm so inclined. Yeah. All right, guys, I'm checking the chat room. What's anything else? What's the final word? Anything you guys want me to mention real quick or talk about? There's not a lot going on around the world right now. There's not a lot going on in space. There is a large sunspot that's traversing the backside of the sun right now, and that is going to come around next week. And so we are going to be looking for, for the solar disk to become more active coming up. And right now we are exiting that solar wind stream that we were in, that's been buffeting us for the last couple of days. We're kind of getting out of that now. And so we're going to have a few days of quiet here, and then things should start ramping back up. That far side sunspot, as they call it, is blowing up over there. sending out, hurling shit into space. We can see kind of what it's doing, but we can't see it directly. Yeah, I don't know much of anything about all the YouTube Premium and all that kind of stuff. I just use it like it is. I do need to go ahead and get the YouTube Premium, I guess, and support YouTube. But yeah, I'll check you. We'll check the earthquakes tomorrow night. I'll do a segment on that. All right. Let me see. Is there anything else, guys? I don't even have the that side of the studio is not even turned on, so I don't even have the full view tonight. All right. All right, everybody. We're gonna call it. Thank you, everybody. I hope you had a great Thanksgiving out there, and I hope you have a good Thanksgiving. The rest of your Thanksgiving weekend. I may go live at some point tomorrow. I don't know. Playing it totally by ear. If I get everything going tomorrow and everything's working, I may drive out somewhere and try to do something. I don't know. We're going to play it by ear. But I will probably be on tomorrow night, more than likely. I plan on it tomorrow night, 9 p.m. right here for the Sights and Sounds of Earth. And then Sunday night, I'll be back on again, 9 p.m. and then all next week. And so the whole idea here is... you know, on Sunday, I won't have any day stuff on Sunday. It'll just be Sunday night, 9 p.m. There may be some day stuff tomorrow, but mostly just 9 p.m. All right, I guess that's about it. Everybody out there, I hope you have a good one. We're going to get the rest of this working. Once I can get this to where I can charge it in the car and stuff like that, we'll be a lot better off. Okay, and we'll get all that figured out. All right, guys, I'm going to let you go for tonight, live from Southwest Florida, from the StarShip Studios in Fort Myers. My name is Ian, Starship Adventures, and this has been the Sights and Sounds of Earth. And I hope you guys join us again tomorrow night at 9 p.m. For another check into science, weather, and news all over the world right here on Starship Adventures. We'll see you tomorrow night, guys. 7 3s. Be safe out there.